Hey, Rainbow here, and guess what's going on? The Ducati Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak. Something that some of you didn't want me to do, and something that some of you said I could do, but you wanted me to change the color, and that is, I'm gonna put engine guards on. So I had my engine guards from my original V4S. I took them off. Of course, they're like a silver, and I finally got around to getting them powder coated black. So let's get moving. So here we are. I just picked them up from my neighbor. My neighbor works for Absolute Powder Coating down in Pompano Beach, Florida. And I dropped them off to him a couple of weeks ago. We kind of both forgot about it. And I just went tonight and picked them up. That is the color. They were just powder coated. Of course, they used to be gray or silver. That's how they're sold. So let's start putting them on the bike. And the bolts and hardware for it, I took off. They soaked in like a WD-40 for a couple of weeks to get them cleaned up. And we are ready to start assembling this really quick and easy job. There's only one part of this that I'm not sure of, and that is that one of these standoff bolts is longer than the other, and I don't remember if the longer one goes on the right side or the left side. And I'm describing that because I'm facing the opposite direction. All right, let's take a peek. All right, so there they are unwrapped. Check that out. I think they look awesome. Now the only thing I have to do is I have to remember how the hell this goes together, which it's actually quite simple. There's one issue with an insert, but we'll talk about that shortly. There we go. So the two most important part, well, they're all important because without all of these, the thing's not gonna go on. But these inserts are the parts that you cannot lose. And when you take the original ones out, make sure you don't lose them, because if you ever take these back off and you don't want them on for whatever reason, you're going to need the original inserts. Now, when I first went ahead and had these installed by the dealer on my first Ducati Multistrada, the V4S, they did not give these back to me when they took them out, to put these in. So we're gonna take a look at that right now. Okay, this is the skid plate, and I'm on the right-hand side of the bike, all right? And when you come up and over, this is what the skid plate pivots on when you drop it down in order to change the oil, okay? That's what we're gonna take out. That's gonna have one of the standoffs, and that also is gonna have to do one of the inserts, goes right there. You know, while I'm here, I'm kinda not digging the color of that oil. Maybe I'll do an early oil change. Okay, that's a 4mm hex, first thing you're gonna need. So let's take out this screw. That's a 4mm hex. And you just repeat that on the other side. Again, little 4mm hex, and it comes right out. Oh, there I am. Anyway, 4mm hex. Get this out, and then the pan will drop down. And now you're gonna bump up to a 6mm, and you're gonna take this factory insert out, okay? 6mm hex, factory insert comes out. And repeat it on the other side, and take this one out also. All right, the inserts that you need now, these are gonna be 19mm hex head. So you're gonna need a 19mm socket, okay? And before you put these in, I would advise at a minimum, some blue, otherwise known as medium Loctite. Okay, I don't have torque specs on this, but please, you're going into aluminum. Don't get crazy, okay? It's not that critical. Just make sure that it's good and tight. Okay, so I was talking about how one of these is long and one of them is shorter, okay? This longer one goes on the right side. The shorter one is gonna go right into the insert right here. But first, of course, I'm gonna put some thread lock on that before I do it. And then you have this component here, which is a standoff, and that. Okay. And so this is gonna go right here with this standoff, and we're gonna get some thread lock, but this doesn't go in, of course, until we have the bar in place. And once you get this shorter standoff set up with some thread lock, medium is my preference. All right, you put on what you want. 13 millimeter, all right? Drive this in with a 13 millimeter, and again, make it good and tight. Don't go crazy, because remember, you're going into an aluminum casing. Do not strip this out. All right, one of the things you don't want to forget before you put that standoff in here on the left and right side is that you have this little piece of metal here. This has to come out, and you're just going to go through the grommet with that standoff. Okay, once you get this thing started, and I would not tighten everything down completely, all right? All right, you're gonna have the standoff, and then this bracket, and then you're gonna need an 8 millimeter hex to kind of snug it up. But again, I would leave it relatively loose until you get everything else, and then torque at the very end. What you have left are two different size screws. All right, I just put some thread lock on this one. The smaller one is what's gonna go into the standoff that we just put in where the insert was, all right? So we're gonna line this up and get this one in, and it has some thread locker on it, all right? And this is gonna be a number 6 hex head, number 6. Oh yeah, one more thing. Because this is in such a deep tube here, you're gonna need a long hex head. If you're using like a 3/8 drive, you're gonna need to have the longer one like this. The short one won't fit in the barrel there unless you have one that has slightly longer ones. Okay, now the thicker one right here, I'm gonna put some thread lock on it, and that's gonna go in here on the bottom to hold this right in place, okay? And this is why I leave this a little bit loose, so that this could fit in there, and we can, because if you over torque everything, you may not get this to line up, so you do this last. One thing to know about this cross member is that's this piece right here. This is what's gonna connect the left and the right side, okay? On the right side is the only place where you have this little notched out flat spot, and that is gonna line up exactly with this spot right here. All right, that spot right there. So now you know which direction this one goes in. And don't forget, on this grommet, we want to take this metal insert out. Otherwise, the standoff will not fit in there. And once again, I cannot stress this enough. You are screwing all of these bolts basically into the engine case, okay? It is aluminum. Do not turn into Mr. Monkey Ape here and start like ripping things apart, okay? Do not over torque these. I do not have torque values, but you'll kind of know when it's good enough, and that's one of the good reasons to use a good Loctite. So it's a good idea at this point to line up those flat spots, okay? So this only goes one way, and put that, it's 8 millimeter head there, it's the larger of the two bolts. Put that together before we go ahead and put this in place. And like I stated before, go ahead, put the little number 6 goes in here into the standoff. Leave everything a little bit loose. Do not tighten everything down. Leave it a little bit loose so that you could line up all of the other bolts. The other one's gonna go up here into this one. That's gonna be another one of the thinner bolts, the number 6. That's gonna go deep inside here. So again, lock tight and get this one over here. And the final bolt, and this is why you leave everything a little bit loose, we'll be getting this one in here, which is gonna be a number 8 hex head going in there, and that's gonna go through here right into this, okay? But this is why you leave everything loose to the end so that you can line everything up. So let's get this in. right there. There we go. Tighten that thing up. Again, let's not get carried away. We have thread lock in there. And now it's time to go ahead and just finish tightening everything up. And let's see what it looks like. So if you have your dealer do the job, make sure that they give these back to you. You will need these 2 aluminum inserts. You will need these 2 inserts, and you will need these in order to put the bike back to normal, the way it was from the factory, just in case you want to do like I did and take the engine guards off of the old bike and put it on a new bike yourself. Make sure when you get this job done, you put these to the side and don't lose them. All right, so you want to see what the bike looks like? All right, let's take a peek. Well, there we go. Does not stand out anywhere near as much as it did when it was painted silver. Not even close. Let's take a peek at the other side. I don't have a lot of room in the garage, but this really sneaks in here, and it's very stealthy now that it's black. It really just blends right in, and I have the engine protection that I need on the Ducati Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak. This is Rainbow. Please like, please subscribe. Hope you like the bike. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye-bye.